revenge on the Dallas Mavericks, and the Phoenix Suns do lose again. So are they going to end up in the lottery? So let's talk about it. So first let's talk about obviously the big game tonight, the Lakers versus the Mavericks, where Luka plays his old team for the first time since the trade. Now, I talked about this yesterday on the live stream. I was saying if you don't think Luka's going to go crazy and drop 40, 50 on the Mavericks because of obviously, how he was traded and everything that went down, I said you got another thing coming. So I was incorrect on his, points that he ended up scoring, but I did also say, he is still technically getting into basketball shape. So I also wouldn't have been surprised if he didn't end up scoring 40 just because he's still working his way back, right? But my whole point was that he's going to be motivated and give a lot of extra effort just to win this game because obviously he didn't want to leave Dallas. And although he didn't put up 40, he went crazy. By the end of the third quarter, I believe, he had 12 points, which obviously is not the standard for him, but he had 12 points, 12 rebounds, and 8 assists. Like, he was already on triple-double watch. So we know that Luka was having a big impact on the game. And obviously, to start the game, we noticed, if you watched the game, the intensity. Everybody, of course, was giving a lot of effort on defense. But Luka, the one criticism that people talk about him is his lack of, defense and defensive effort. Well, at least in the first quarter to start, we didn't see any of that. And I believe it continued throughout the game. Like, I felt like he was playing, pretty decent defense. Like, I don't know how many blocks he got, but I remember one specific play at least where he blocked somebody. I don't know if it was on Max Christie, but he came like from behind or whatever and blocked somebody. So Luka was giving effort. Like, he was like, I am that guy, and you made a mistake trading me, right? So shout out to Luka for getting his revenge, so to speak, on the Mavericks, even though obviously the players on the team had nothing to do with it, but like, you know what I mean. And so Luka played well. LeBron played very well also. LeBron, it's kind of insane that he can still play like this at his age because it's kind of weird. Like, LeBron seems to have more energy now than he did like 20 games ago. And I don't have any conspiracy theory here or anything like that, but like, before Anthony Davis went out, I'm just saying, when I would watch Lakers games and I would watch LeBron, his energy and effort and like his driving to the, like you could just tell, like the driving to the basket, like his energy on defense, all these things, in my opinion, were lower than they were once AD got hurt. And then obviously once AD got traded, we see LeBron's playing like crazy again, right? But like, even before the trade, when AD went out, and obviously LeBron knows if AD is out, he has to carry more of the load, scoring, defensive, like all those things. So like that is something to take in mind. But even like besides that, like I said, just like the pep in his step, like he just looks extra motivated. And so that's carried on since they got Luka. And now he just looks like younger. I just don't know how he does it. 40 years old and he's still playing like this. It's really amazing to watch. Like, LeBron's not a perfect player. There are no perfect players out there, but like, it's definitely impressive no matter how you slice it to play this way at 40 after all the years that he has played. So shout out to LeBron for that. Let's also talk about Max Christie for a second, by the way, because I want to give him a shout out. When the trade happened, we all agreed the package we all thought was not enough for Luka. And Max Christie kind of got the shade thrown at him, so to speak, unfortunately. And I didn't try to throw shade at him, but I guess I kind of poured on there because I was saying, like, you got AD and Max Christie, who is a young up-and-coming player. I literally said that. I said he's a young up-and-coming player who's earning his way in the league, but his value is not what Luka is. And obviously I meant that in a nice way. Like, I wasn't trying to throw shade at Max Christie, but I could understand how, like, not that he saw my video, but that how Max Christie would look at people saying that and being like, hold on a minute, like, I am turning into a very good defender. I'm turning into a very good player, right? Well, I'm sure he heard all the noise because Max Christie is averaging like 18 points per game for the Mavericks, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. Playing great defense. He played very well tonight. He had 2 really big threes. He had 1 big 3 for sure, but like right before halftime, he was scoring. He was doing his thing. And again, I said Max Christie is a young up-and-coming player. Like, I didn't say anything disrespectful, but I'm just saying, like, he has outplayed what a lot of people thought he was on the Lakers. Because on the Lakers, he didn't have the biggest role, right? Like, he was not going to get the touches he's getting now. Now, when AD comes back and Daniel Gafford comes back and all that, he might not get as many touches. And so his scoring and output may go down again. But right now, he's taking advantage of his opportunity. So shout out to Max Christie because he is earning all this playing time. He's playing very, very well. And so, with that being said, that's how the Laker-Mavericks game went. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is the Phoenix Suns, because if you have not been watching the Phoenix Suns, they are struggling. A team that was literally in first place to start the season, and Kevin Durant was looked at as a potential MVP candidate. Like, that is how different the season started for them and how it's going now. And before the season started, I gave my season predictions on where I think teams were going to end up. And I predicted that the Phoenix Suns would not make the playoffs. I don't think I even had them making the play-in. Like, I think I had them like 11th, if I remember correctly. I definitely didn't have them top 8 for sure. I don't remember if I predicted spots 9 and 10. I usually don't. I usually just do the top 8 seeds. And so, regardless, I know I did not put them top 8. And I don't remember what people said before the season started, but I don't think a lot of people were predicting the Phoenix Suns to miss the playoffs completely. But I was just like, something about this team is not right. Like, something is not right. And granted, like, they made some good moves this offseason. Like, I really like the pickup of Tyus Jones. And I think they got Mason Plumlee this offseason too. Like, I'm trying to remember if that was this offseason. Like, so many things have happened this season. It's getting crazy. But, like, I liked their pickups. So I agreed that they definitely did things to make the roster better. But I just didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. And so now we're in the spot where they are struggling with KD there, with Bradley Beal there, right? Like, KD is playing. It's not like he's not playing. And tonight they played the Memphis Grizzlies, and they went to overtime. The Suns had the lead with, 10 seconds to go or whatever it was. Ja Morant hit the game-tying shot, goes to overtime, and the Grizzlies win, right? So it was a close game. But the fact of the matter is the Phoenix Suns are in, 11th place right now. They are 27 and 31. Like, they're under 500 by a few games. And it's not getting any easier because the Phoenix Suns have the hardest remaining schedule in the NBA out of everybody. I'll have to go look after, but I'm pretty positive they are number 1. So their games coming up are not getting any easier. It's only going to get tougher as it goes from here. And they are struggling to win as it is. And the Western Conference, we know, is loaded, super tough. Like, you have to rely on other teams losing consistently and you winning consistently in order to get back into the playoff race. And I don't know that enough of those teams are going to lose more than the Phoenix Suns are going to win. Or rather, yeah, that makes sense. Lose more than the Phoenix Suns will win. So the Phoenix Suns are in a really tough spot. And I still stand by that they're not going to make the playoffs. And then this summer is going to be very interesting. We're going to see, a lot of reports around, is Kevin Durant staying? Is he getting traded? Or is he going to request out? Like, we have heard some rumors and stuff like that once the trade deadline happened, because obviously he was apparently shocked that his name was in trade rumors. And so clearly him being shocked meant that, like, he didn't want to be traded and he didn't think he was going to get traded. And so this summer, not only does Kevin Durant have a decision like, do I want to stay here because we're not winning, we're not even making the playoffs, at least by my standard, right? By my prediction, they're not even making the playoffs. And if you got Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, and Devin Booker, you should be able to make the playoffs. Like, I think a lot of us, talent-wise, would say that team should make the playoffs, right? But like, I just feel like there's something off. And so like, if they miss the playoffs completely, if they miss the play-in completely, not only does Kevin Durant have a decision to think about, even though he's under contract, he obviously can't leave technically, but he can request a trade, and then I guess we'll see if they accommodate that. But not only that, but the Phoenix Suns have a decision because they almost traded him at the deadline because they are realizing as well, Kevin Durant is our only tradable player to get us, you know, things we want back in return, because Bradley Beal has a no trade clause, so they can't do anything there. And they are still, you know, set on having Devin Booker as their face of the franchise. They're not moving him anytime soon, at least not yet. So they are still all in on Devin Booker. So that leaves Kevin Durant only as the only option to trade in order to get, you know, a decent amount of assets back, players, picks, whatever it is. So because of that, the Phoenix Suns may make an executive decision as well and just trade Kevin Durant, because that is the only way they can do something at this point. And then it's like, where does Kevin Durant end up? Because this will be his 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll be his 5th team, because he obviously started in OKC, Golden State, the Brooklyn Nets, and then the Phoenix Suns. And then obviously if he gets traded, unless he gets traded, you know, back to OKC, or I guess the Warriors, although he already said he doesn't want to go back to the Warriors, or rather the report was that the timing isn't right, and that I guess maybe he'll consider going back in the future. I don't know. But like, unless he's going back to one of those 3 teams that he was on, I doubt. If I had to pick any team, it would not be Brooklyn, because that just does not make sense. But like, unless it's OKC or the Warriors, he's going to his 5th team. I don't know what team that would be. I don't know if Phoenix would send him to the East, because obviously teams would rather do business, you know, across conferences, because it just makes it less likely that you have to compete. Like, although we've seen teams be doing like trades within the same conferences more recently, which is kind of crazy because it usually isn't like that. But like, the fact of the matter is he can go to the East. They could send him to the East. I don't know. I think they would obviously accommodate where he would like to go. Like they wouldn't just send him, you know, to the worst team or anything like that. But so the Phoenix Suns are in a tricky situation, and I don't know where he's going to end up, or if he's going to be traded at all. Maybe he won't be, but like, we got a lot to look out for. So watch out for the Phoenix Suns. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this live.